Hello, dudes and dudettes, and welcome back to the yet another retrospective series. Not. Haha, you thought. No, we are actually doing something a little different today. If you are a part of my strong but small audience, then you're probably expecting the retrospective on Doris, but that is going to be next week for two reasons. Reason one is, although I love making the yet another retrospective series, I don't want that to be all my channel is. I want to do videos like this, but I also want to do some gameplay stuff, everything from like challenge runs to custom maps with friends. And the second reason Doris is going to have to come out next week is as I get better at editing, I take longer to do it. I mean, if you've watched this series from the beginning, then you've probably noticed how much better my editing has gotten from video to video, but it takes so long to do, and as I get better, it takes longer. Not to mention, it feels like a video cannot run smoothly when I make it. See, I got about halfway through making this video. This is being recorded on a Wednesday right now. Wednesday night, matter of fact. You see, when I make my videos, I record the script, then I edit the script, because there's a bunch of long pauses and I screw up sentences, so what you hear is perfectly strung together, but it takes me hours to cut out all of the dead space, cut out the incorrect sentences, line them up to sound right. I got through editing all of this probably 20-minute long video's voiceover, and then I edited my little guy, my little suit man, my little fella, I edited him to the cadence of me saying these words. Well, shit-ass fuck dick company Omen Gaming has this thing called Omen Gaming Hub, and it offered to free me up 13 gigabytes of space, and I thought, hey, I could use that. So I ran Omen Gaming Hub. I ran their cleaner. They cleaned up 13 gigabytes of space. That's incredible. I wonder how they did that. Man, I wonder how shit-ass fuck dick company did that. I wonder how they did. They deleted every single video in my videos folder. Just gone. So, after I spent hours recording and editing the voiceover, and then spent even more hours editing my little fella in cadence with that voiceover, it all got fucked up. This Wednesday night was supposed to be the last night of serious editing spent on this video. That is no longer the case. So, anyway, point I'm trying to get at is sometimes I need a little more time than I would like to admit to get these videos out. So, for those two reasons, Doris is going to have to wait until next week. And this is not the first time I've said this on the channel, but if I sound uninterested during the reading of this script, I'm furious, and I'm not sorry about it. Anyway, expect little side videos like this every once in a while, both because I want to do other stuff with content creation, and because I'm using them to pad out my time for the retrospective videos. Anyway, without further ado, we are going to be looking at the worst perks in Zombies history, some real fucking stink-ass perks, and I'm going to tell you what I would do to try to fix them. I'm sure this has probably been done before, but I don't really care. I'm going to do it for myself anyway, and we're going to start off with Who's Who. Let me run you through a scenario. You're playing Call of Duty Zombies, you're having a great time, maybe going for a high round, when boom, you go down and have no more quick revive. This is where the idea for Who's Who comes in. See, normally you'd be done here. This is your last chance. Make it count. But with Who's Who, you are given another chance. If you don't know, with Who's Who, once you go down, a clone of yourself spawns in with the M1911, where with enough skill, you can revive yourself. Now, you may think that that is hard as hell, and it is, but that is where Who's Who is actually kind of genius. See, it would be way too overpowered to be exactly like Quick Revive and just let you get back up. Oh, no, no, no. You've already had your freebies. Who's Who says if you want another shot, you gotta earn it. And that is the hidden genius behind Who's Who. After you've run out of Quick Revives, Who's Who gives you the opportunity to keep going, but you're given a test of skill, which naturally balances Who's Who's seemingly OP ability. Where technically, if you are a good enough player, you can infinitely revive yourself and keep playing with Who's Who. There's no limit on how many times you can pick yourself up with this perk. Well, all of that sounds fair, a perk that gives you more chances, but you gotta prove yourself first. Why does Who's Who suck? And that's actually the easy answer. It's really hard to do. So most of the time you feel like you're getting no value because you're probably not gonna pull it off. Picking yourself up is slow. 3 Mississippi slow. 3 seconds might not seem like a lot of time at all, but trust me, it is hard to get 3 seconds worth of distance from the zombies on really any round where they're all sprinters. More than likely, you're gonna get about halfway through the revive, and then the zombies are gonna start fucking touching you. This is exemplified by the fact that the perk is only on Die Rise, a map filled with obstacles and drops that require you to slow down, so you can never really get that far away from the zombies. But now for the hard part, how do we fix Who's Who? And it might seem crazy to say this, but I think Who's Who is actually largely implemented correctly. One of the biggest reasons why Who's Who sucks so bad isn't necessarily the concept, but the map. Remember, I said Who's Who is only on Die Rise, which is a small, cramped map. You have no space to create any distance between you and the zombies, so you may think the solution would be let you kill the zombies, right? But that is also a no. Let's say we gave the clone a pack-a-punch ray gun instead of the starting pistol. That still wouldn't be much help on a high round. Any zombies that you would kill would just respawn. Plus, so much of what makes Who's Who balanced is that this perk is a test of skill, and it's not skillful to just kill the zombies with a pack-a-punch ray gun. No, what makes Who's Who so bad isn't the perk itself, it's the map. Who's Who only being on Die Rise is its biggest weakness. Being on a cramped, tiny map filled with slowdowns is what makes this perk practically unusable. It would be like if PhD Flopper was unlocked. The perk itself isn't a bad idea, it's just not useful on that map. So how we fix Who's Who is quite simple. Put it on maps with more space. I know that is a pretty anticlimactic answer, but that is honestly the best thing for this perk. Any major changes like a better gun or even perks on your clone would make it way too easy. However, putting it on a map like Moon or even something smaller like Kino, Who's Who has the potential to be a very solid perk that could really clutch out and save your game. I think that is really the only change that you can make for Who's Who to keep it balanced but also give it any hope of seeing use. Anyway, next up we're going to tackle Tombstone. The way Tombstone works is once you go down, you have the opportunity to kill yourself. If your teammates are able to finish out the round, then once you respawn, Tombstone leaves a tombstone on the spot where you died. When collected, you will be given all of your perks and guns back. Now on paper that isn't bad. I can see what the devs were going for when they cooked up this piece of shit in the lab. They wanted a perk that would make dying less painful, which isn't an awful idea, but the way Tombstone was executed is its problem. For one, the perk incentivizes dying. So you know how it works when you die, a round passes, you respawn and keep all your shit, blah blah blah, but if your buddies pick you up, then you lose everything. So when you go down, there is no reason to let your friends revive you. If you want the value Tombstone provides, then you have to kill yourself. You have no other options. And problem number 2 is kind of a inherent problem with the perk, and that is, why wouldn't I use this perk slot on something that's going to keep me alive? Anyway, that is enough rambling about the perk. How do you fix it? And that was actually really hard to just kind of land on. It was difficult to find a way to change enough about the perk while making it usable, while also not changing it too much to where it's unrecognizable, which is one of my categories for this video, was it couldn't just be a whole new perk. But with that being said, I think I have found something that works pretty well. With our new perk, let's call it Tombstone 2.0, once you buy the perk, everything looks normal until you go down, where unlike Tombstone 1.0, instead of being prompted to end your fucking life, you are greeted with nothing. You've lost all your perks, all your points, and all your guns. After the round is over, whether your friends pick you up and you survive, or whether you died, at the start of the new round where you went down, you will see a tombstone. Picking it up will grant you 2 random perks that you held before. Tombstone cannot be one of these 2. You will also be given half of your points back, and if you fully died, you will be given 1 of your 2 weapons back. And if it was Pack-a-Punch before you died, it will remain Pack-a-Punch just like regular Tombstone. Now, hearing that, you may be thinking, why not just give you all of your shit back like normal Tombstone does? And I do have my reasons. Normal Tombstone gives you all of your stuff back, but you pay for it by dying. In this scenario, you don't have to die. Therefore, if it gave you all of your stuff back, it would just be a get out of jail free card, and it would take all of the punishment out of being downed. My main goal was to fix the issue of forcing you to kill yourself and leave your friends stranded. I truly do think that was Tombstone's biggest flaw, and I think this does a good job of getting rid of that issue while not making Tombstone super overpowered and just like a get out of jail free card. Also, I was able to keep Tombstone's original concept of basically just being a life insurance policy. Anyway, that was the best way I was able to fix Tombstone. Please let me know in the comments if you have anything else you'd like to add or anything that you think would be better, but next we're going to move on to Mule Kick. And I honestly kind of hate that Mule Kick is so disliked. I think it's a pretty goated perk, especially on certain maps. Like, take Origins, having 3 weapon slots is killer. But if I'm gonna be honest with myself, looking at it objectively, having 3 weapon slots is not that insane. I would say the idea of Mule Kick is a B tier perk at best, but it was executed so poorly that it drags it down to being a low C tier perk. So my objective with Mule Kick is to fix the poor execution and get it back to being a B tier solid perk. Mule Kick has 2 big problems. One, adding a 3rd weapon to your rotation wheel of guns means that if you need your Thunder Gun, for example, instead of clicking Y once to get it, you have to click it multiple times to scroll to the gun you need, and you might not have that time. Having a Mule Kick can feel like digging in a bag full of shit to find pepper spray while you're getting fucking mugged. And the second big problem is once you go down and lose Mule Kick, you lose your Mule Kick gun. There is no worse feeling than having an Apothegm Servant in your Mule Kick slot and just knowing that eventually you're gonna get caught, you're gonna try to switch to it, you're not gonna switch in time, and then you're gonna go down and lose it. Now, I've come up with a solution that is simple but gets the job done really well. You can probably guess what I'm gonna say. Add another keybind for your Mule Kick slot. I used a controller for the earlier example, so I'm going to do it again. The D-pads almost never get used. Some grenades might have a D-pad bind, and some specialists might have a D-pad bind, but they're pretty largely unutilized in zombies. So with my Mule Kick 2.0, after you buy the perk, instead of holding X or the normal interact key to pick up a gun, you would hold your Mule Kick keybind. After going up to the mystery box or a wall buy and using your Mule Kick keybind, that gun will be tied to that keybind. Your original weapon slots will function like normal, however, once you need your Mule Kick weapon, a simple press of the D-pad is how you access it. This prevents Mule Kick from cluttering up your weapon inventory, so to say, I guess, and screwing you over when there's a specific weapon that you need. The second addition that my Mule Kick 2.0 brings makes it to where that once you go down, your weapon stays with you. You won't lose it, you just can't access it until you buy Mule Kick again. Once you buy the perk, all you have to do is click that 3rd weapon slot button, and boom, your Thunder Gun, your Apothegm Servant, it's still there. I think this really gets rid of all of the negatives that Mule Kick has, bringing it to that B tier state that I said it would probably max out at, and I don't think there's much better ways you could do this, but if you have any ideas, obviously, leave them in the comments. But our 4th and final perk we're going to move on to is Deadshot Daiquiri, and I'm going to warn you, I'm not trying to be lazy, but I struggled so hard with Deadshot. If you thought the answer for Who's Who was anticlimactic, you are not going to like this, but with Deadshot, it's in this weird place where the idea of the perk just kind of sucks. Bringing your cursor to the head of the zombies when you aim in is good and dandy, but it's not useful enough to justify a perk slot. In order to fix Deadshot, you're going to have to bring it more utility, which is way harder to do than you'd think. I was going through so many ideas for this perk, and they either sucked or they made the perk so OP that it just didn't make any sense. At first, I was going to say make any bullets that hit a zombie while you're in hip fire do headshot damage, but that would be crazy, it would fry every single zombie, and I had so many ideas that just made the perk so OP. And again, that's the biggest issue with this perk. It's so hard to add anything to it without making it useless, still, or way too overpowered. So I want to recruit your help in the comments, really. See, the best idea I could come up with for Deadshot was to make it to where headshots give you double points. But I could see that not increasing Deadshot's value at all. Another idea I had was with Deadshot, when you kill zombies with headshots, there's a percentage chance for an AAT to activate. But that's already another perk. Again, I'm so stuck with Deadshot, and I figure why not do what I do best and turn my failures into audience engagement. So tell me down in the comments below what you would do to fix Deadshot. Do you like my ideas? Do you think they're too overpowered? I really do want to know because I was struggling with this one, but that is the end for this video. I know I've said it like 10 times already, but if there's anything you disagree with or think that you have a better idea for, let me know in the comments. While I was recording gameplay for this video, I was talking to my friend about these ideas that I had, and I thought it was so cool, and I honestly had so much fun talking with them, and I think it would be cool to do that with the audience. I try to respond to every comment I get, and I've been pretty good about it in the last couple videos. And if you're someone who showed up for the retrospective this week, disappointed that we didn't do the Doris video yet, I'm sorry, it's coming next week. And if you're new to the channel, and this is my first video that you've seen, consider checking out the Yet Another Retrospective series. I am pouring a lot of time and effort into it, and we're almost done with World at War, which means we're going to start getting into BO1 and the really good maps. Anyway, the last thing I'm going to ask you to tell me in the comments is, do you like this kind of content? I don't want to keep doing it if people hate it, but as I said in the beginning, I don't want to make my whole identity just be retrospective videos. Like, I want to get into other stuff, but let me know. The same buddy I was talking about earlier proposed the idea of maybe starting a new series where we do every single mainline Easter egg and rate them. Just any stuff like that. If you would be interested in, I would love to know. Anyways, that's all I've got for you. Tune back in next week while we cap off World at War and the Yet Another Retrospective series, and that's it for me. Okay, love you, bye.